Pakistan has to be quite aware that there are several Kashmiri people who have now come out, spoken about how Pakistan has backed terror and is quite prevalent in Jammu and Kashmir. They've raised their voice at the UNHRC platform. This comes as a huge setback to Pakistan, who believes that they have the support of the people of Kashmir. But here you have testimonies coming in from several Kashmiri people who've spoken about how Pakistan has backed terror and terror is prevalent in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Even till date, they've raised their voice at the UNHRC platform, hitting out at Pakistan, saying that they're the ones instigating terror in Jammu and Kashmir region. Let's cut across to the testimony.
Women like me end up in social isolation with a thin opportunity to rebuild lives while targeted killings continue. Conflict in Kashmir is still objectively seen in terms of casualties, while its social and psychological dimensions remain underreported, even in circumstances where the state has come forward to support us through its rehabilitation schemes. We are threatened from availing of these opportunities. Having lost male family members, our vulnerabilities are exploited to prevent us from rebuilding our lives. The international community, academia and human rights institutions need to join hands to conduct a fresh investigation with new intersectional tools and methodologies to highlight and, if possible, measure the impact of terrorism on Kashmiri women. We can no longer afford our grievances to be categorized as politically incorrect. Thank you, Joseph.
Silence is imposed on the victim families, especially when it comes to women. As an activist, I have documented numerous such incidents where women are prevented from speaking out against these atrocities. It is well known how militants continue to use residential places during search operations against the wishes of locals. There are numerous instances of involuntary labor by women, cooking, cleaning, sheltering militants, sexual violence and assault on women. Over the last few years, we worked on grassroots level to bring together voices of the victim families and women on the common platform to amplify their voices as well as a community-led effort for rehabilitation. To date, the families of victims of cross-border terrorism continue to live under fear and threat. I have a strong faith in the international community role to address these challenges and an increase in coverage of these incidents with a specific focus on women and reporting about perpetrators who gradually created an environment that would keep such activities in check.
All right, what had to be said finally been exposed at the UNHRC. Kashmiri youth explicitly claiming that Pakistan is behind instigating terror and activating terror elements in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Clear fingers pointed out at Islamabad by Kashmiri youth at the UNHRC. India Today tracking the story very closely. Let me cut across to Ashraf Wani joining us from Srinagar. Ashraf, a quick word from you. Kashmiris very clearly at the UNHRC pointing fingers at Pakistan, saying it's Pakistan time and again instigating terror in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. They've been trying to alter the status, and in fact terror itself is completely unleashed by the country of Pakistan, and that's quite evident. Kashmiris now saying it, stating it in as many words very clearly at the UNHRC. What does this really mean? Has there been a response to this?
Absolutely, Nabila. Basically, this is a counter to the claims which are being again and again put forward by the Pakistan in the international forums, particularly in the UN, that now these people from the Kashmir have themselves put their word in front of the world community in the UNHRC that how human rights violations are being carried out by Pakistan through terrorism and other acts, particularly in the Kashmir Valley. In fact, there are hundreds of such examples and instances where it has got clear that the terrorism in the Kashmir Valley is backed by the Pakistan, not hidely, but in fact in many cases openly. That is why now the world could know the real story of Kashmir. These people approached to the UNHRC and are putting their word there.
If you could tell us a little more about these people, the Kashmiri youth there who've spoken at the UNHRC, and what have they exactly said? And does this really echo the sentiments of Kashmiris, local Kashmiris by and large?
A section of population here is with the word what these youths and these people are telling in the UNHRC, particularly those people who had got mostly hit and affected by the terrorism. And in fact, Shoaib Lone, one of the leaders, is seen in the visuals who is speaking to some of them. His father was the Home Minister. He was assassinated, Mushtaq Ahmed Lone, here at his official residence in Srinagar. So he better knows that how terrorism has affected and brought problems in the many families, including Shoaib Lone. So there are stories, all those people who have suffered, particularly the people who have served in the security forces in Jammu and Kashmir police, in the army, then they were brutally killed by the terrorists in the Kashmir Valley. They have their word to say. Otherwise, Pakistan always tries to portray the one side of the story, not the other side of the story. They mostly sell the words of the separatist leaders and their rallies and the other human rights issues of the Kashmir. But here, as you know, that many world leaders as well as many countries have sometimes issued the issues of the human rights violation in the Jammu and Kashmir. And some countries also openly spoke about that. To give the reality of the Kashmir to the world forum, these youths have reached to the UNHRC and are putting their word there.
All right. Indian government, they're trying desperately to bring in normalcy in the state of Jammu and Kashmir at a time like this. During discussions in the at the UNHRC, you have Kashmiri youth explicitly explaining and testifying on how Pakistan has been backing terror relentlessly along the lines of Jammu and Kashmir. Let me cut across to Amit Raina, who's a Kashmiri Pandit, joining us on the phone line. Mr. Raina, here's Kashmiri youths at the UNHRC speaking on how terror has been unleashed and backed by Pakistan for years now.
Yes, that is true, and I think this should have been done many years back. While Narasimha Rao government did try it, and there were representations, especially from Kashmiri Pandit community at UNHRC, subsequently keeping the Dillut policy in mind, the same was reversed and the terrorists were given preference over the terror victims. So definitely it is time that we expose Pakistan, because the Pakistan who claims to be someone who believes in the rights of Kashmiris is the biggest perpetrators of crime against Kashmiri population. We have lost more than 20,000 civilians to terrorists backed by Pakistan, funded by Pakistan. You have an entire community which is on the verge of ethnic cleansing. Genocide has been perpetrated on communities in Kashmir, especially the Hindu community. So it is time that the Pakistan is exposed by the victims of terrorism themselves, because if Pakistan claims that they are the voices of Muslims in Kashmir, it is the victims who are Muslims of Kashmir have now gone to UNHRC and expose the lives of Pakistan. So I think it is a move, and what I think we need to do more as a nation is that we need to even include the people of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir in the voices against Pakistan, and expose how Pakistan has been treating our people in their occupied areas, and trying to commit genocide in Gilgit-Baltistan, ethnic cleansing in Pakistan-occupied Jammu Kashmir. They're trying to do the reversal of population mix. They're trying to change demographics. There has been attempt at multiple levels by Pakistan on committing genocide, and it is time that the Kashmiris themselves get up and expose Pakistan.
And I think that's what's happening here. Mr. Raina, thank you very much. I'm going to cut across to Taslina, who's a Kashmiri youth, who's said very clearly how terror has been backed in Jammu and Kashmir by Pakistan, and there's really nothing being done by Pakistan as a country. First of all, they don't admit it, and they continue to play along with terror. And here is a testimony coming in from a Kashmiri youth itself that explains it all. Let's take a listen yet again.
Women like me end up in social isolation with a thin opportunity to rebuild lives while targeted killings continue. Conflict in Kashmir is still objectively seen in terms of casualties, while its social and psychological dimensions remain underreported, even in circumstances where the state has come forward to support us through its rehabilitation schemes. We are threatened from availing of these opportunities. Having lost male family members, our vulnerabilities are exploited to prevent us from rebuilding our lives. The international community, academia, and human rights institutions need to join hands to conduct a fresh investigation with new intersectional tools and methodologies to highlight and, if possible, measure the impact of terrorism on Kashmiri women. We can no longer afford our grievances to be categorized as politically incorrect. Thank you, Joseph.
All right, these are nothing but victims of terror, and here it's quite evident that Kashmiri youth who are currently speaking at the UNHRC have exposed Pakistan and their lies, clearly busting Pakistan's lies, saying that they've not been involved in terror. What's happening in India, they feign ignorance time and again. Kashmiri youth now very clearly saying at the UNHRC on how Pakistan has been fully backing terror in the region of Kashmir. Terrorizing the youth, the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and this is all the handicraft of Pakistan indeed.